So I'm not sure if anybody noticed. Trump just put out a post saying that America's prepared for nuclear war with Russia. You know, over the last 6 months or so, there's been a number of things that Trump has done that's bothered me, offended me, and overwhelmingly made me feel like less of a human being and less of an American citizen than others. We had something recently, conservative talk, where a guy was saying America's for descendants of European, settlers. We've had Trump come out on Juneteenth and say we have too many holidays. We've had Trump come out after a horrible plane crash and say that it was DEI. And I didn't know later on they even said that the female pilot was trans. So you're living in an era where white people are just basically living conspiracy theories and presenting conspiracy theories to fit their narrative of their kind of world. Recently they've said that Joe Biden made a mockery of Christianity and that now this administration is going to be protecting it. There's something in the Constitution about Christianity. It was supposed to be separation of church and state. And there's a lot of these things offend me. Some of these things scare me. Not violent. They scare me because I realize white folks have lied about everything they ever told us about America and what they believe in. They lied. That's fine, but nothing you ever told us was real. Nothing. And you said things and promoted things just for white supremacy and to normalize how you treat us and treat other people in the third world who just don't have the intellect or the knowledge or the ability to do certain things. I've talked about how I think Russia's got a vaccine they're putting out now for free for cancer. I think South Africa got the cure to HIV or something, other things, and I didn't think this would bother me 6 months ago, but knowing that America is we're not that anymore. We're not the cool guys, we're not the smart guys, we're not the people we're not leading the world anywhere. And that white people, this is DEI for white people. Like, this is bringing things down to their level. It's not a rising tide raises all ships. There's literally not enough jobs for people who are unemployed now. Literally. That should scare you too. No, you get a job. Well, now there aren't enough jobs. I guess reading this post this morning, it bothers me because you realize in seeing that we don't really... We got an 8-year-old running the country, y'all. We got an 8-year-old running the country, and he's making little side deals with people, and he's like, I can be a dictator too. And his thing was, I'll play dictator. White folks like that. The cruelty, the racism, the homophobia, right? I'll play the hate guy. And I'll give China, Xi, and Putin, I'll give you what you want, but you gotta pretend I'm on your level. Because he respects them more than he respects Congress, Supreme Court, all them people up with the suits and all them degrees. No, we don't want that. I want dictators. I want Kim Jong-un. Remember the letters and all that? And they're at the kids' table, basically. You're not at the big boys' table until you're willing to violate human rights and threaten the United States Criminal Court by name and things like that. To me, as I said, realizing that you're an 8-year-old running the country, and he thinks he's friends with these people. He thinks he's friends with Putin. He thinks he's friends with Xi. He thinks he's friends with these bloodthirsty maniacs who have been engaging in war crimes and human rights violations over my lifetime. Long before I was even thought of, they've been doing this stuff. And Trump just gets on the scene and thinks that I can be mean and I can be racist too. Yeah. If you just let me pretend I'm on your level, then I'll get what you want. And they're not doing that, which is a good thing. Which is showing white people who wanted a dictator that he's not a dictator, and that this is not respected, and this won't work. It basically it'd be like me going into a gunfight with one of them fake Chinese bulletproof vests, the Temu bulletproof vests, and everybody's like, "Bro, ain't a bulletproof vest." That's something else. That's not Kevlar. It's not a plate in that bitch. It isn't the same. It ain't look the same. You may tap on it, ain't the same. That's what this is. But for me, as I said, realizing an 8-year-old's running the country and that he can just one day be like, yeah, we're going out there. The next day he's like, no, there's no Epstein files. And then he's like, oh, well, there is Epstein files, but the Epstein files about Obama and Biden. And so I released a whole bunch of stuff on Dr. King and John F. Kennedy as a sort of a deflection. I'm deflecting from what I really ran on. Like, realizing that that bothers me. Even over like all this National Guard, martial law shit, the idea that people in America are this stupid and this deranged, and that this is I interact with a bunch of single issue voters who just don't care if he lies to them. And they only care about how he makes them feel. They only care about the racist jokes and the nasty jokes and the cruelty. And they view America as sort of a bully nation. That's why he's changed it to the Department of War, which is like, I'm belligerent, I'm the drunk man in the bar, instead of being the Department of Defense, which is like, we're educated, we're intellectual, and we're doing things so we don't have to have war. But our job is to defend the nation. Our job is to defend our alliance. Our job is to defend NATO, and anyone wants to put their trust in us. The Department of War is, now I'm a drunk man in the bar. I'm swinging my fist at everybody. Anybody can get it. A man that got 30 pounds on me out here, I'm still going to swing my fist in his face. Nobody kick my ass. Like I said, the idea of that he's an 8-year-old, he's a mind of an 8-year-old, he's not mentally well. We know it. Everyone said it. That bothers me. Because so much, I think about how everybody that worked for Trump, no one works for him here. No one has followed him. I don't think Jared Kushner has even followed him, man. No one has followed him other than Stephen Miller, a racist. Barr didn't follow him. None of them fell on him. None of them speak well of him. And the fact that all of them have warned you about this dumbass in the White House, but you don't even care about that. The interviews they've done over the years during Biden, which I thought would matter. People getting their voice out, people that have intellectual, they're actually capable of their jobs. The reason why I mention it is when Ketanji Jackson was confirmed as Supreme Court Justice, what did Tucker Carlson say? He said, show me her transcripts. Didn't he? So I realized for black people, there is a double standard. And white folks want it that way. It's not by mistake. It's not a fluke. It's not an error. It's not a bias. It's not a stigma. It's by design that Trump can fuck it all up. I remember when Obama, tried to say the post-Rachel America bullshit. I remember the peach suit. They called him gay. Said his wife was a tranny. I mean, I remember. That was ugly. That was 8 years of ugliness and viciousness and cruelty. And Obama could have ran up Occupy. He could have ran the pirate flag and said, "Hey, sharpen your swords. You know what I mean? Keep your feet wet and your powder dry. Let's go." He could have done that. He didn't. He didn't do that. He didn't play the Kaepernick. He didn't do it. And I say, what's the point? What's the point of playing fair with white people when you have someone like Trump, who elected 3 times? You understand? What's the point of black folks fighting this military? What's the point of the decorums, what we call it, political decorum? Ooh, I eat with the right spoon. My pinky's up. My elbows are not on the table. Like, what's the point of that when you're dealing with crackers that pick the absolute worst, less qualified guy who's put Robert Kennedy in DHS, you got Amanda McMahon with no educational experience, Robert Kennedy, no medical degree, and you have the head of the CDC, who's not a medical doctor, nor is he a scientist. So my point is, what does decorum do for a black man in a system where a black man's got to do everything, have his ducks in a row? My mom used to say, eyes dotted, T's crossed, and he still might not get a job. And where you have a world where Donald Trump can make every mistake. January 6th, COVID, response to Charlottesville, everything. And white folks, I will always say, after this is all said and done with, If Trump has trouble in midterms, it's because of the economy. I'm not saying all Trumpers are racist, but I'm saying for most of them, racism was not a jumping off point. When you buy a house, there's a point where it's too expensive. There's a point where it's got too many problems. There's a point when the commute is too long. There's a point where the crime is not right. There's a point where the school is just not where they should be, in your opinion. Maybe people up here might think it's okay, but to you, it's not okay. And for them, racism was not that. And so no matter what happens with Trump, win, lose, hopefully he does lose in the midterms. I'll never view this country the same. I'll never view this flag the same, or the military forces in this government the same. I will always view this as a very dangerous moment that white folks deliberately chose, because of selfishness, because of pure and utter selfishness. Thank you for listening.